Hey guys, this is Hale for HES Ultimage, and I wanted to make a video about the types of readings that I offer. And it's funny because now I just want to call them messages because I'm not making spreads anymore and I'm just channeling directly. So they still work the same, I just don't have to go, and this is this card, and this card means this. Now I can just be like, this is this part of the message, this is that part of the message. It's just more streamlined. Okay? So I'm going to go through each of the readings and give you greater detail about like how this kind of functions and everything, because I want to make it clear that it's like each one has its own benefits and has its own angle and its own kind of quality level, okay? So first ones are the newest that I'm doing, which are One Short Question and Mini Monthly, okay? These are kind of really great when you just have like little questions that you want to ask, and they can really be about anything. And I've even had things before where people are like, can you just tell me whatever I could, need to know now? So you are allowed to do that too for short question. You could just go, just whatever I need to know, and I can do that for short question. Mini monthly is just what you're going to expect for the coming month. Sometimes it'll include either like a karmic lesson of some sort or like a significant lesson for you on top of it. It just depends on the person. But mini monthly is just, different energies of the month, what to expect from the month, and guidance towards that, okay? But again, short question is for shorter questions or for open questions. So you can say advice for my love life, advice for my career. That's okay too. Or, okay, things about prospects or other things like that or outcomes. But I'm going to touch a little bit more on some of the other stuff because I think there are some breaches happening where it's like, I want to make sure that people get, the best of what they need for what they're looking for, okay? And I'm also going to do a video about what I can't do and what I can't tell because I think sometimes there are dissonances about this. And it's like, there are certain expectations about what I'm supposed to give you in guidance and what I'm not supposed to, okay? So that'll be in a separate video. All right, so next one, life coaching okay, spiritual coaching, intuitive coaching, whatever you want to call it. Life coaching. Life coaching is a Skype reading, okay? Life coaching and spiritual coaching can only be done through Skype. All right, I have to make that clear because sometimes people don't understand that, and that's okay. I mean, I've made it work before. But those have to be done through Skype because it's like a counseling session with channeling, okay? And I can also pass on spiritual and philosophical advice, whatever. But it's literally you talking to me and me talking to you and us having a conversation, okay? And I think that this is a great format for people who want to have a conversation because in the other formats, I just dictate the channeled message to you, okay? And I don't get interrupted at any point. We have like 10 to 15 minutes afterwards usually to discuss the messages and guidance after those other Skype readings. But for life coaching, it's literally a conversation. So if you got something like new love, relationship, ordinary, extraordinary, or powers, those ones I dictate the message to you and then we discuss afterwards, okay? So life coaching is very unique that we have a complete conversation together. All right, so that's the thing that makes life coaching unique. The other thing is it's an hour, and within that hour, you can ask however many questions you want, but within that hour. And remember that I still need to channel during that hour too, and look for whatever channeling guides from my little index cards if I need them, then I pull them out, and if I don't, I just start writing it down. But that it's an exchange. But I'll say, people have been very, very satisfied with life coaching. Usually people are like, oh my god, like, it's only been a half hour, 45 minutes, and I got all my answers. Like, life coaching, it might not sound like it's long with an hour, with a full conversation together, but it's really exceeded a lot of people's expectations. So I would say life coaching is a really great way to go if you want to have a conversation, because I know some people like the convenience of getting an emailed reading. So short question, mini monthly, new love, relationship, OE, ordinary, extraordinary, that is, and powers. any of those can be emailed. And that's the other thing. Life coaching and spiritual and/or intuitive coaching, I do not record those because I like to keep the intimacy of a conversation. So if you record them on your end, it's a-okay, but I just don't like holding a recorder to my face while I'm talking to you, since they are the more intimate and involved options when it comes to having an exchange. Okay? And again, life coaching, spiritual coaching, you can go as deep with a question as you want or as light with it and just focus on different areas. So it's very personally tailored to the experience of that person, to that client, and the exchange is always perfectly unique. All right. And yeah, anything can come out, even, more life lessons and things like that. Whatever is necessary within that hour to come through, it does. All right. Now, spiritual/intuitive coaching is maybe one of my personal favorites right now because I think I do it in a way that nobody else does and nobody knows about this. But the spiritual/intuitive coaching, because as you know, like I subscribe to higher self now, and that being the most constructive, useful, and to me most truthful form of how you describe how you access intuitive gifts. Through this kind of like future breach thing. But anyhow, with the intuitive and spiritual coaching. So, if you subscribe to the spiritual belief, I'm not going to knock you, it's all coming. They all have a common thread, and we're all accessing the same stuff. We just have very dissonant opinions about what it is. It's kind of like that South Park thing where they were like, are we the United Atheist Alliance or United Atheist League in that one episode? It's a really trivial thing to fight about. I'm not going to go into it in greater detail. But I just want to say that, how we word what we're accessing doesn't get in the way of me teaching you, and teaching you the best way to get through it. Because I've been through the ringer when I had to learn how to use my gifts and constructive ways to do it. So I believe I am a great person to teach people, that I know how hard it can be and how to guide people so that they do not experience it through fear. Because that is the worst thing. And like, to me, self-empowerment, clarity, understanding that, we must challenge ourselves sometimes and learn some hard lessons is important. But to me, one of the worst things that I've learned through that process was that I had to learn through fear because other people wanted me to believe that fear was the answer, and it is not. Okay? Self-empowerment, self-responsibility. I believe that that is the way to teach people how to use intuitive gifts, spiritual gifts, however you want to word it. Because people who want you to believe that it's all like monsters and demons and ghosts, it's just a fear complex. And I've learned that by removing yourself from that fear complex, you can always find your best, and you might have to teach yourself hard lessons and, kind of like get in there a little and like, give yourself tough love sometimes through your higher self, but you never have to experience fear if you don't want to. And if you do have to, then it's to learn how to remove yourself from fear. Okay. Got on my soapbox there for a second. All right, so through spiritual coaching, what do I do? It's so unlike anybody else that I've ever witnessed doing this. I created a set of index cards that are in these different color index cards, and each one is a different area. So I have certain ones that are relative to chakras. I have certain ones that are relative to tools, like cards or runes or herbs and fragrance and things like that, like incense. And I have all these other different delineations in that set that are different tools that the person can use to their personal benefit, and that should be most useful to them. Okay, so I can literally recommend what should be the best thing for you and what you would like probably connect with the best or would be best for your personal gifts. All right? Then I have a very unique thing which I call energy signature cards. And I started with crystal meditation, which really taught me ultimately how to access my higher self in greater clarity and greater vividness. And when I learned how to channel, that was kind of snapped into me because I fulfilled certain parts of my package, I think, my karmic package, and, you know, followed through and was doing the good work. So that was kind of just bestowed. But before that, I could still get vibrations through my hands, across my cheeks to give me certain cues and, you know, information and other things like that. So, you know, there are different tiers to how you develop, and I always tell people there's never a rush to that. But anyhow, the way that I learned how to perceive and feel energy and use my brain differently and my body differently and get into these trance states, so to speak, was by doing crystal meditation. So I literally give you these energy signatures and suggest different crystals for you that coincide with the energy signatures that are best for you and the crystals that would be most in line with your kind of lessons, with your kind of energy that you want to cultivate and work on. Because that really is how I started, people. I started by learning crystal meditation and learning that I could shift my different energy signatures with different what I would call meditation packs of crystals. And literally, my meditation packs are in that set too. So it's always kind of cool how I'm like paying forward these sets of crystals and on these energy signatures in order to help people try and realize their own intuitive gifts. And on top of that, of course, I offer, you know, advice, you know, that is tailored to what you're going through, what you're wondering about, what you need to know, and you know, what you have questions about. Because this is the other thing, because I have to tell you, I can't shoot you through the tiers just because you want to. It's not like I'm going to give you a yellow belt, then a green belt. That's your job. You know, listening to your guidance is half the battle of that. But then, you know, as far as giving you guidance, though, on how to start moving forward, how to, like, give you the tools to succeed, that is what I want to do, and that is my goal. Okay? All right. Okay. All right. So that said, I think I'll move on to some of the others since that one got some good time in there. I don't think you would have many more questions. But if you have questions about any readings, shoot me a contact form. I used to get a lot of those because I had so many. Now I'm getting a little more streamlined with my offerings here. All right. Okay. Next, new love reading and relationship reading. Okay. I have to say, new love reading and relationship reading are readings that I hold with very special pride because they're ways of examining this that people usually never do. And that's kind of why they are on the price scale of what they are, because they're very detailed and they're very, very succinct. Like, I literally cover all different elements and aspects of these relationships. So, just to clarify, new love reading is literally the next relationship that you will commit to having. Okay, so it's not the next person that you date, it is the next person that you go, okay, you and I, we're in a relationship. And duration doesn't matter, it's just the next person you lock into that relationship with is the person you're hearing about. Now, I go through things like why you're being brought together and what you're meant to facilitate in each other. I go through the nature of your love, the nature of sexual relationship. I go through a lot of other things like ways to balance the relationship, triggers that initiate the relationship, and other things like that. And I don't want to tell you every little bit of it, but just to tell you, like, that's just some of the level of detail that I go into, and it's a lot, guys. It's a lot, and I've had a lot of people very happy about that reading and that they got it. And I mean, I know that it's very tempting to get short question about relationships, which, you know, for some people it works, and for some people that's what they need. But for a person who really wants a detailed account of what their next relationship is going to be like, there's no comparison. So I would say, short question, it's great if, you know, that's what you need and that's what, you know, your resources are available to you for. And I can still give you, you know, clear information about relationships and all. It's like I said, if you just want general information about your love life, no problem. Short question, done. But But if you want to know a detailed account of what your next relationship will be like, there is none better than New Love. Relationship is the flip side of that. If you want a very detailed account of the significance of your relationship, and it's very similar in format, it just focuses a little bit more on building relationships. But I'll tell you guys, if a relationship is not healthy, I will be given information to tell you to exit from that relationship, okay? I've had it happen before. So just because you get relationship reading doesn't mean that you are meant to be in that relationship. So just keep that in mind if you're in a relationship that has some trepidation and some shadows under it. I recommend relationship reading for people who want to improve it. But honestly, if you have to get out, I'll tell you to. So relationship reading's unique in that way, that it's like, it can be great details in strengthening a relationship, or great details even in why you need to move forward from one. But honestly, most of the time it's about strengthening. That really is why it was created. But know that always, always, no matter what, I am required and obligated to give you the guidance that I am obligated to give. And I can never step away from that. Alright, okay. Last ones are the life lesson readings. These are like the tour de force readings, so to speak. I have to say, people, when they are done with those readings, are like, just their mouths are hanging open and they're like, oh my god, that was a lot of information. And literally, these are people who have had just 35 minutes worth of that, or an hour worth of that. You know, it's different depending on the person and the types of lessons they're being given. I do not discriminate based upon time. I give what is needed, and that is all. You know, I have to give what's needed. I never charge by time, and I still don't. Like, the life coaching's one thing because it's a conversation and we can't gauge time with that and all, and it's not directly channeled, so I'm not dictating, but I don't charge by time. I just don't believe in it. Like, life and spiritual coaching, it's because we're having a conversation in session that it needs a clear delineation and cutoff point. But when I'm doing channeled messages, I go as long as I need, and, you know, as much as that person needs is what they need. But anyhow, those life lesson readings, ordinary, extraordinary, and powers of attraction, most of the time people are agape after, like literally just just completely bewildered by the amount of information that I deliver in that time frame. It's a lot, guys. That's why they're at the top of the spectrum. I'm literally going through major, major life lessons and major key points for your guidance through those readings. And it's like, I hit hard with them, okay? And it's like, whatever you need, it has to come out. Because these are the ones, because that's the other thing. Mini monthly is more about what you need to know for that month. And sometimes it might just, like, by coincidence, have something that's a little bit bigger for you. With life lessons, it's the big stuff, guys. And that's why I say, those life lesson readings, you can only get them once in your lifetime for both of them. And, you know, then you could always say, you know, for short question, what do I need to know now? You know, that's conditional upon time. Life lesson readings, they're what do I need to know for my package to fulfill things and, you know, and learn the big lessons and break big patterns. These are the heavy things, guys. These are the big ones. It's bringing out the big guns. It's like, you know, all of the different readings we have here and the different guidance forms that I can provide, it's like artillery, and this one's like the grenade launcher of readings, okay, guys? It's big, big stuff. Ordinary Extraordinary is about your big life lessons and, like, about learning and growth and evolution. Powers of Attraction is more about how you bring certain elements into your life, how to use your personal gifts and personal strengths to your best ability, okay? So that's what that one's like. So that's the difference. They're kind of just... Ordinary Extraordinary is a little bit more about how do I learn, grow, and evolve. Powers is more about how do I use my own gifts to my greatest advantage, okay? But again, it's like, those ones are pretty hard-hitting and contain some very big lessons. So I would say, you know, if you're looking for that really big, you know, 1-2 punch of insight and some really big, like, kind of cliff notes, if you will, cliff notes to your life path, life lessons, and learning for evolution, I would highly suggest those. So that said, those are the ones that I'm offering right now, and I mean, I think that's a pretty good, roundup so far. So I think I'll leave it at that and say, I do very much hope that you'll choose me as one of the people who can give you and provide you guidance. I mean, I love that I can do this for you, and I love doing it. And that said, I hope to hear from you, and I'll see you later.